Hey there, movie fans. Welcome back to my channel, your go-to place for all things action, thrillers, and blockbuster breakdowns. Today, we're diving into a unique Jason Statham film, Revolver, 2005. Unlike his usual action-packed, high-octane thrill rides, Revolver takes a deep dive into the world of psychological crime drama, directed by the legendary Guy Ritchie. This film blends action, mind-bending twists, and Statham's signature tough guy persona into a gripping and complex narrative. Revolver and uncover what makes this film such an intriguing entry in Jason Statham's career. The story is in an unidentified city. Cockney gangster and gambler Jake Green is released from prison after a 7-year stretch in solitary confinement for an unspecified crime. Because of this, Jake developed claustrophobia. He becomes incredibly anxious in tight spaces and despises riding in elevators. 2 years later, Jake and his brother Billy travel to a casino owned by Dorothy Mocha, a gang boss involved in illegal gambling all over the city. Mocha had ordered Green to commit the crime that led to his imprisonment. Though Billy is reluctant, the brothers have arrived to collect the debt that Green believes the gangster owes them. Mocha promptly calls them up to a private area of his casino where a high rollers game is taking place. Jake bets a fortune on a chip toss with one of the table's players, and loses. Manipulating Mocha into a sense of false security, he makes the same bet with him, but this time, he wins. Humiliated, Mocha orders his right-hand man Paul to have Jake murdered. As Jake and his brothers leave the casino, a man hands Jake a card and tells him that he can help him. Jake's phobia forces him to take the stairs. In the stairwell, Jake looks at the card and collapses, falling down the stairs. The card is revealed to read, "Take the elevator." Jake is rushed to the hospital. The doctors report that they don't know why he fainted, but inform him they will have the results in a few days. Later Jake arrives home, without Billy, where Mocha's assassin Sorter is waiting for him. On his doorstep there is another card, which reads, "Pick this up." As Jake bends to retrieve the card, bullets fly over his back. As the shooting continues, the same mysterious individual, a loan shark named Zach, arrives and rescues Jake, who is the only person to survive the hit. Zach introduces Jake to his partner AVI. They offer him a deal. They will take all of his money and he will do what they say, no questions asked. In exchange, they will protect Jake from Mocha. In the course of their proposal, they show Jake his medical file, which they have mysteriously obtained. It indicates that the blackout occurred due to a rare blood disease which will cause his death within 3 days. Jake suspects he is being conned and leaves. Later, at a visit to his doctor, he is given the same prognosis and said to have 3 days to live. Jake returns to AVI and Zach's pool hall with a satchel of money and agrees to their terms. The mysterious men reveal that his money will be used to fund their money-lending enterprise, then question Jake about his time in prison. Jake explains that he was given a choice to either spend 14 years in the general prison population or 7 years in solitary confinement, of which he chose the latter. Jake meets AVI and Zach on a rooftop, where it is revealed that they were Jake's neighbors during his years of incarceration. They reveal that Sam Gold is an ultimately powerless cipher, whose power is granted only by those who invest in him. He represents ego and is the personification of greed. AVI attempts to get Jake to understand the nature of the ego and to challenge his own lifelong investment in it. The men explain to Jake that by stripping him of the physical embodiment of ego, his money, they have freed him from Gold's game. That night, an armed Jake breaks into the penthouse where Mocha is sleeping. Surprisingly, he kneels before the bed and asks a half-naked Mocha for forgiveness. Jake leaves in the elevator, which gets stuck at the 13th floor. Mocha retrieves his own handgun and rushes down the stairs to meet Jake on the ground floor. While waiting in the elevator, Jake has a conversation in his mind in which he rejects his ego. By doing this, Jake steps off the proverbial chessboard by making a conscious effort to reverse everything his ego tells him to do. This is seen to be the truest and most fundamental application of the formula. In the theatrical release of the film, Jake finds out about the niece's kidnapping and decides to return the crime boss's money to save her. When he arrives, Mocha points a gun on Jake's niece, but Jake shows no fear. A humiliated Mocha remarks that Jake can't kill him if he is already dead. Then he puts the gun to his head and pulls the trigger as the screen cuts to black.